Hello, how's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the CFCTALK podcast. Not the greatest of days for Chelsea. Again, another draw against Villa this time. Now, Chelsea sitting sixth in the table with 26 points, only getting one win in December, which is quite disappointing after looking at the start we had to the season. And the start we had, of course, as usual, we're joined by Alex and Amart. We'll be discussing both the Aston Villa game, the key points, and some breaking news that has just been released a few hours before. That was released a few hours before the Chelsea game, that Man City players have tested positive for COVID-19, which means that there is a chance of the Chelsea Man City game on the 2nd of January to be delayed or be postponed for a later date. It's still unclear by the time we're recording this podcast. So we'll still end up discussing Man City and the game because it'll happen, whether it is um, on the 2nd or not. It will still happen. Sorry, on the 3rd. But great to have you guys back. Alex and Martin, your thoughts on the game at this point? I think we're just going to be repeating ourselves, but Mart, you want to go and give your thoughts?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I don't know. I was more impressed, towards our performance about our performance in this game than when we played against Arsenal, because I think in this game we showed good spirits in the beginning. We showed a good attitude in the beginning. We wanted to win this. We clearly did want to win this, but again, like we still have issues that need to be solved. I don't know, we still find it difficult to break down teams that put up very strong defenses, and I don't know, so I think that's what we need to work on. So overall, I'm not too happy about the result, but at least um, we were better than the last performance. Like we showed something. We had a good attitude. We showed enough intensity throughout the whole game. So we were unlucky, but yeah, I'm okay with the performance, but still disappointed with the result.
Alex, your thought on the game?
Uh, well, where do we start? Jeez, it was okay. I do agree that we were unlucky in some points. So the goal just going straight off the bat, the goal we concede, I think Grealish fouls Christensen, and then Christensen's not there to block the cross. Sorry, to win the header. Sorry, against or challenge even against Al Ghazi. So that was unlucky. But there was also the McGinn wonder strike that hit the as top corner as you could possibly get, and it hit the crossbar from like 40 yards out or something. So we were lucky that didn't go in. We could have lost the game, but uh, yeah, it. I mean, you could see that the team were more intense. I was happy with that, but uh, there's bigger problems. There's just like the fact that when we attack, we just seem to cross and cross and cross. And we credit to Mount. To be fair, he did. There were a couple of times he was trying to take some long shots, but other than that, there was just nothing. And as well, Chilwell. We were unlucky at the end that Chilwell didn't score that wonder volley. Um, but yeah, I think the problems go a little bit deeper in that unless we're running at 100%, all we do is cross, and we didn't have. I mean, yes, that makes sense when you have Giroud on, but when we subbed off Giroud, we were still trying crosses. But credit to I mean, we did I think try lower crosses when Werner came on, but still, yeah, I'm just a little worried that when we're not at 100%, we kind of just don't really have anything. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, it seems like whenever we're not running at 100%, which we were never gonna do. We've played Arsenal like 48 hours ago. We just don't have any ideas except for when Ziyech's out as well. We don't really have any ideas other than to cross, and it's a little worrying, I think, on that point. And yeah, just it wasn't enough. Aston Villa are good, but that doesn't mean that we should accept a draw. With Chelsea, we should be going for the win, and we should be unhappy that we didn't get the win today, and it continues our bad run. But yeah, That's there are some positives out of the game, but it is very frustrating among mostly. Yeah, it's very frustrating result.
I think I'll have to completely agree with both of you on this one. This was a game where even after the Arsenal loss, you kind of felt like we could have taken 3 points away. And no disrespect to Aston Villa, and they've been incredible this season. And I think they've played 2 less games than us. So if they end up winning those 2 games, they're on equal points as Liverpool. So um, or are a point behind. But yeah, credit to them; they've played really well. But again, I'll emphasize on this a bit later into the podcast. But something that really concerns me is the amount of chances we have and the amount of chances we convert. And forget even converting those chances; it's putting those chances on target. We struggled to shoot on target. I think it was somewhere around 31%, or shot accuracy. So it's it's almost, I think we shot, yeah, we had 5 shots on target with 16 shots in total. So 31%, and even though it was better than Aston Villa's, which was 20%, it still doesn't show a lot of improvement from previous games. And Arsenal, and we could say the team came out with a lot more energy, and it looked like we wanted the 3 points. And especially, I'll have to start by saying, I think first 5-10 minutes that I watched of the first half, I saw Mount, who was playing really well. I saw Pulisic, who was playing really well. Callum Hudson-Odoi was playing well. Other than that, everyone else just seemed to be on an average performance. And um, still wasn't seeing that urge and that fight to bring the ball forward and keep attacking. Um, but getting into the details of this first half, I'll leave that up to you and Amart and Alex, both of you, because I was busy for most of the first half, so I didn't get the opportunity to watch it. Um, how good were we from reading reviews? I can understand that we played better in the first half than the second half. Would you agree on that, Alex? And what was different in the first half than compared to the second half?
In the second half, what I would say is in the second half, Aston Villa definitely gave it gave it their all. They were very aggressive. They put the pressure on us in the second half. So I do agree that. Wait, you did from people said that Chelsea were better in the first half than the second.
First half than the second half.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Aston Villa were very intense in the second half. They ramped up. They made it difficult for us, and they got their goal, which was deserved. But yeah, other than the goal in the first half, and there wasn't. There's not much I can actually really remember, other than, I mean, Pulisic was looking sharp. Hudson-Odoi, oh yeah, of course, Hudson-Odoi in the first half was, sorry. To be fair, Hudson-Odoi overall today was amazing, and it shows that he absolutely should be starting whenever now, because his switches of play, in particular, he made passes that, like, almost FIFA passes in a way, that these diagonals that are quite hard to see from when you're down on the pitch. And he was playing these really nice long balls. So it was good to see him playing well. And the goal was, I think, the lead was deserved. But then, yeah, Aston Villa really, they took it up a notch or two in the second half, and the subs, I don't know. We'll talk about that in the second half in a bit, but let's see what Amar's got to say on it. On
The
first half.
way Alex is speaking tonight, with so many pauses and then kind of a bit of a frustrated mood,
Yeah.
it kind of just sums up a Chelsea fan, um, and how we're feeling overall from this December period, actually, to be honest with you.
Uh,
Amart, we've been struggling this whole December period. We've been Charity FC, we've been NHS FC with injuries and giving away points. And Christmas is over. It's almost New Year's. It's about to be a new year, and we still haven't seen a very big improvement from probably the first loss of this month till probably tonight, which kind of still feels like a loss. And I think I was watching Frank Lampard's um, comments after the game, and he said it was quite a big improvement and from the last game, which it was. But he seemed to be quite happy with this performance. As a fan, are you happy with this performance in the way we completely, I think I should say, just didn't play well in the second half compared to the first?
Yeah, I was. I think I said it in the beginning. I was impressed with our performance because we had improved compared to what we played against Arsenal. We had improved a lot, but I was still worried with the new centre back pairings with Rudiger and Christensen. I was still worried about that, but we did very very well. And to be honest, Aston Villa didn't really have that many chances. Like they didn't have that many chances in the first half. They didn't have that many. I think in the first half they worried us quite a bit, but they didn't really trouble us that much. Like I think Mendy made one save from a Grealish strike in the first half. I think apart from that, nothing else really came from it. Yeah, and they had another corner that they took. Um, um, they passed the ball down on the ground, and then I think they struck it and it deflected and went straight into the hands of Mendy. So I think that was the only two that they like really worried us, and I think we would have won the game because we were good defensively. We weren't bad today at all defensively, but again, like Alex said that I think it was Alex or you said in the beginning that we had so many chances that we didn't really put away, and I think that's what let us down. And then, but we'll talk about the second half, but I don't know. I feel like we that Christensen thing that he did. We'll talk about in sec. I mean, we'll talk about the second half. So I don't want to go into it too much, but I think we would have won this game by I think a goal to nil. At least we would have won by a goal to nil because they really didn't pressure us. They didn't really worry us. So I think I agree with Lampard when he says we have improved, but definitely we expect a win. So even if he says we have improved, we still came out with the draw. So it doesn't really look like something to be happy about. We had to win. So I think that's the probably the difference.
I think I'll I'll have to say I'm very disappointed with how we played. Um, and it might be because I've only watched the second half and I've haven't watched the first half. Um, but I'm really disappointed. I mean, when Frank Lampard came on last time after the Arsenal game and he said, there's a response that's required, there's a change that's needed in the next game, and you might have said, "Oh yeah, we last time we didn't get a single point. This time we've got a point." But Aston Villa, this was a win game for us. We could have won, and yes, we've played in less than 48 hours, or all of that. But we've got such a good squad depth. We could have played. Kai Havertz started. Even though he's not in form, we could have had. We had Giroud start, which is a good thing, and then. I don't want to get into too much of the second half, but substitutions. Why wasn't Tammy coming on when he's in better form than Timo Werner? Um, and Chelsea had a few chances where we could have killed the game off, and we Aston Villa had no chance. But as a fan, I'm really disappointed with this. And you might say, yes, it's an improvement from last time, but I completely disagree. And there's a long way to go from here before we can even think about maybe even winning against Man City on the 3rd of Jan.
Oh God, well, let's talk about
Yeah,
City later. I don't even want to. It's gonna sap my energy if we to even think about that. But
I think
sorry, did you have a question with that, or was it just looking at Man City? You just kind of mentioned City, and my whole mind just kind of went, "Oh
I think
no!"
Amart was going to continue.
Go on, Amart,
Uh,
go for it.
I think
Take
he
the
was going
mic.
to challenge my
yeah
point.
yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I know you want us to win and stuff, but like on paper, that team that started wasn't our best team. The team that started, yeah, we could have won with that team, but we shouldn't underestimate Aston Villa at all because they've been very good. They've had a good run leading up to this game. So, if anything, a lot of people expected them to beat us, not us beating them. A lot of people expected them to beat us because they've Arsenal have been worse. They are worse than them, but they managed to beat us 3-1. So it's probably like it gives them the advantage. It gives Aston Villa the advantage because they are the ones in good form and we are the ones who have lost um, three games out of four. So on the fact that we could have beaten them easily, I don't think so. I don't think we could have beaten them easily at all. They came prepared. In the first half, they didn't really give Giroud a chance at all. In the first half, everything was coming from Pulisic and Mount and Hudson-Odoi. They were the ones in the attack. But Giroud had just one chance and he buried it. And that's what I like about Giroud. He got his chance and he buried it. But in the second half, it was our own fault. In the second half, what Christensen did caused us the game a lot. And then because we could have won 1-0 and probably wouldn't have been saying that we are disappointed with our performance because I don't think we underestimated them. We played in such a way that we didn't want to allow them to hit us on the counter, and we also didn't. So we defended well. We did our best, but I don't think it's a disappointing performance like you're saying.
I think, yeah, I mean, if you look at it that way, you could say yes. You know, Aston Villa. I might be going off and um, might be saying like, yeah, because Aston Villa were in a good run of form. A point is well deserved, and since we've lost, I think 3 of our past 5 games and drawn one, um, you could say, oh yeah, point is a lot better than what we could have done and what we did last time. But I'll still come on and say, when I look at the stats for this game, just this game, and I say, wow, we had 16 shots, 5 on target, 64% possession, almost 600 passes. Um, the amount of corners, I think it was 11 or 12 corners that we had. So we were dominating throughout the game, and we just weren't able to finish off our chances. So it's not like it's the worst performance ever. I think Arsenal was way worse, and at least first half the players showed up. The players showed that the players made sure that they at least fought for it, and I think disappointing might be a bit too much, but I would still say we can do a lot better, and we should be doing a lot better at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I agree, and it's like I did. In all fairness, if we had won the game, I think we would have gone fourth. But the reason why I'm most frustrated is that this game kind of confirmed to me that we're in a real I am very, very not sure that will get top four this year. I know it's maybe a bit reactionary. I'm not saying our top four is out the window because it's so close, but it's kind of just hit me today that there's Leicester, Everton, Man United, Aston Villa, Tottenham, and City, and us, and only 3 of those teams can go into the Champions League. And right now, other than Tottenham, we're probably the worst, playing the worst. We're of those 7 teams. Other than Tottenham, we're probably playing the worst right now. But things will hopefully pick up. We do need to get out of the rut eventually. But I'm just very, very concerned that we're not going to make top four this year because it's so close and because there are other teams that are just playing better than us and playing more informed because all our guys are still gelling. And then I hear someone about to take over, so go for it.
No, no. I think what I want to say is that we shouldn't underestimate the importance of Hakim Ziyech in this side. Hakim Ziyech is a very, very important factor, and we lost him in the first half of the Leeds game. We've gone on to win against. We went on to draw against Krasnodar without him. We lost to Everton without him. We lost to Wolves without him. We only won against West Ham. That was like kind of that win really is, to me, is deceptive because we didn't play very well, but we still managed to win that game, and then we lost against Arsenal. To be honest, I don't think we would have lost that many games if Ziyech was in the squad, and hopefully Ziyech will be back might be back before the City game. So probably things might change. I don't think this is how we are going to play throughout the season. It's going to change. It's definitely going to change if we have everything working, everything, all the factors clicking. And today Havertz was very, very good. Havertz was good. Havertz was very, very impressive. When he came on, he impressed me a lot, and he was the one actually feeding balls through to Hudson-Odoi, to Pulisic, to Werner, and he was doing very well. Like the things that we expect him to do, the creativity that we expected to see from him, I think he has regained a little bit of his form, and he can only get better from here. So I think the tide will change because this season has been very, very weird. So you might never know what happened. Liverpool drew to West Brom. We didn't. Nobody expected that. So it's going to be a good season. I don't I don't want to just put the season out and say we will not get top four. We can't. We can't.
I think I'll agree on that, and I'll say yeah, we can do top four, and it's just a bit of a hiccup on the road, and we just need to find our feet and get back on it. But yeah, moving on to the second half, and I know we kind of spoke about it with the substitutions and Havertz and everything, but I think in the second half and majority of the second half, Chelsea were asleep or weren't playing to their best form, and especially that goal that Aston Villa scored, it came after I think it was a injury, or I think Christensen was in got a he got hit on his shin pad or something, and he fell to the ground, so we kind of didn't have a defender there. Um, this is where I want to get a bit tactical, and I want to say when I looked back at the replay, I saw a bit of a gap between the centre back and the right back. That's an area which should have been covered by either Jorginho or Kante, depending on who was playing that DM role, or and it wasn't, and that's where they actually scored the goal from. Far post, cross comes in, El Ghazi converted into a goal. Alex, Chelsea do always end up either struggling. They have these performances where they play well first half and struggle in the second half, or else vice versa. How long can this go on? And you know, how could this bite back at us? And I know you said you don't want to bring in the Man City game into this, but a team like Man City will take this as an opportunity. They could score 2-3 goals within the span of 10-20 minutes when we're sleeping.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're definitely not seeing us be completely focused for 90 minutes in a long time now, and yeah, it just seems like we only have focus. We can only maintain focus for 45 minutes or at max at a time, or even less in some cases. So yeah, I'm extremely worried about City, but in all fairness to the guys, they were playing a lot of them were only playing 48 hours ago. So yeah, I'm not expect. I think it'd be pretty unreasonable to expect us to be at full intensity. But yeah, it's a weakness of our team, and it's been a weakness of our team for years. Hell, even before Lampard, we still couldn't play. Like it's been a Chelsea thing for ages that we've not been able to be completely in attack mode, or kind of the don't want to liken us to City, but be as devastating as City are. We've had that kind of edge for in periods of games, but never for a full 90 or even for most of a game. So yeah, I'm very worried about City, and I definitely don't fancy our chances against them, because I was expecting a reaction performance today, and maybe we'll talk about Lampard's comments after the game. Now I don't know, maybe we will, but I'm not very encouraged because Lampard.
Depends on the mood.
Yeah, I'm not encouraged by Lampard's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lampard essentially was saying, yeah, quite about how he was quite happy, or at least I haven't seen him saying them. I've seen the words, so maybe they've been taken out of context.
I
But yeah,
think I listened into this, and I think what he said was that he was happy with how we performed compared to Arsenal, and I don't think the reporters asked the question of whether he was happy with the performance in general itself. So um, when Lampard speaks about the performance, he's comparing it to Arsenal and the performance 2 days ago.
But to be fair, anything would have been better than Arsenal. It was one of our worst performances of the Lampard era, probably the worst performance of the Lampard era, and that takes some beating after losing Sheffield United last year 3-0. So yeah, it wasn't good enough essentially. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't good enough today, and I don't know how we're going to be able to go to Man City or play Man City with uh, more, unless, yeah, I really don't see how we can beat Man City. I really don't.
Struggling to
It's bleak.
struggling
It's bleak.
to find words.
It is bleak. I just don't see it.
Amart, I think we also mentioned how on the left hand side we had quite a good amount of chances. Pulisic and I think it was Chilwell and Kante who were playing really well in the first half, and kind of in the second half they got Aston Villa realised, and we were still making chances, and don't get me wrong, we were still creating chances from that area, but it wasn't anything as close as what we were doing in the first half and how we were troubling it. Is this a concern for Lampard that teams are able to realize what Chelsea's doing quite rapidly and just adapt on the spot? And there's no sense of creativity between the players to just realize that the opponents are going to be looking at it and quickly swap or change tactics or try something new or a different style of pass.
Yeah, but first I want to go back to the Lampard press conference thing. I think that he wanted to take it easy on the boys because he was very critical of them in the last game, and I don't think that was the best thing from him to do because he put a lot of the blame on them, on the players for the Arsenal game.
I'll have to disagree on that. I'm
No, no, no.
sorry.
I'm saying that it's not something. It's not. It's not really something that you say out in public. It's something that probably you go back in training and deal with them. But to put your players out and on the chopping board in front of the press, sometimes it doesn't really go well, and we've seen that happen in the past. So probably this time, he's trying to be a little bit diplomatic about the issue or something. So I think that's what that. At least that's what I took from what he said and today. He wanted to be more positive than in the Arsenal game. But the question you asked, it comes back to last season. Last season, for me, a lot of people were saying that Lampard doesn't have a clear cut style. Lampard doesn't have a clear cut formation. For me, I preferred that a lot last season. I preferred the versatility. I preferred the way he changed formations to fit certain teams that we played. I preferred that to what we are playing now is good, but if it doesn't work and he's still sticking to it, it's much more worse than last season when he was changing the formation. So I think it's a worry. It's definitely a worry that most teams have realized that if they defend against us and hit us on the counter, they can get a win or they can get a goal. It's very very difficult, but I think he should switch it up. He should go back to last season against Arsenal. We could have benefited from playing a three back. We could have benefited from playing a three back, like what he played last season, and we beat them at their home. He could have done something like that, but I don't know. The 4-3-3 sometimes teams figure it out easily, and I honestly don't know whether he'll switch or not. Probably when Ziyech comes back, everything will go back to normal, and we'll forget about this horrid moment. But at the moment, it's definitely a worry.
I do agree with you, and it is a concern, and this leads us right into our next topic of Chelsea Man City. A bit of a break for the players. We 5 day gap between the game. It's still not a lot, but it is what it is, and then there's a chance of it being postponed. And so, before getting into Man City and football in general, we've seen a lot of journalists report before the season started there that we could see a rapid increase in the case of COVID positives in the Premier League throughout the season, which could result to the season being stopped. And suddenly we're seeing Man City, and I think a few weeks back, I think another training ground was closed down. I can't exactly remember who it was, due to COVID, and this is now be increasing throughout the clubs or throughout the Premier League. How concerning is that for someone like Frank Lampard, who could be told tomorrow that Chelsea are no longer playing a game for the next 2 weeks, Amart?
I don't know. It's really it's a big problem. Like the pandemic, it definitely is. I'm even surprised that the footballers are still playing because I read on the news, I heard on the news that there's a new strain of the virus in the UK that spreads faster and and it spreads faster in the body quickly and all that. So I don't know how the players are still allowed to go out and play and all that. But I think it's difficult because we've had that issue at Chelsea this season in the women's team. I think two of their games or one of their games was cancelled due to an outbreak in the camp. So it's possible that we might,
Yes.
yeah. So it's possible that we might see more of that. We might, because City have the best facilities. They have the best um, um, physicians. They have the best um, methods in place to prevent things like that from happening. But it still happened, and it can happen to any. It can happen to Chelsea. It can happen to any other team. So I think if at this moment probably it can be controlled a bit, but if it gets out of hand and we hear another case from a different team and then it starts spreading like that, I think the best thing is to put the season on a pause and then wait for the vaccine to probably go around and everybody get it and the cases to drop a bit before we resume because I know we all want to see football, but the footballers' health should be the first thing the British FA or the government should consider.
I think there was a lot of debate, and not on social media, I would say, but internally, and there was a lot of news on how football players, because they're in high risk situations and they're constantly traveling up and down the country, international games, depending on, of course, whether the Champions League games go on until actually happen in February, and the Europa League games. There was a suggestion by a lot of journalists and a lot of news reporters to allow the footballers to go and get the vaccine, even though right now it's purely for um, the the frontline workers and the people who need it at the most and who've got the highest of risks. Alex, do you agree with this, or would you say yes, footballers also should be able to just go and get a vaccine? I
Sorry,
know it's
I can't believe someone's people suggest that. Absolutely not. No way.
exactly.
Come
I was laughing at it. Sorry to interrupt again. I know
go
that you
for it.
wanted to answer. I was laughing at it, to be honest, but um, it's quite weird how people kind of just think football is the most important thing around the world right now.
If anyone above the age of 12 has suggested that, then that's just I have no hope. I have no
You're
hope.
following the wrong people.
Yeah, I have no hope because that's just the most insensitive, unthoughtful thing I've probably ever heard. That no, like football is important and it's important to the well-being and the mental health, especially of
I
hundreds of
think, yeah,
millions
that's
of
the point
people.
that they were looking at it from.
And yeah, it's a fair point, but people who are in essentially not giving the vaccine, if they were able to give the vaccine out and they gave it to footballers instead of the people who need it, aka healthcare workers and teachers and elderly people and kids going to school,
The
then
police,
society's definitely failed in some point. So yeah, absolutely not. It absolutely has to. There's people who need it much more than just the mental well-being of people of sports fans. there's about 10, 20 different other groups of people that need it before elite sports people can even be considered, in my opinion. And I think that's probably the opinion of I hope that's the opinion of the people who decide who gets the vaccine, because if it isn't, then it's going to be a huge media outcry.
100%. And I think this just leads us into the next game, Chelsea Man City. However, there is a chance of it being cancelled. We still would like to review it, and we would still, it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen on the 3rd, it's going to happen sometime between January and February, and hopefully not during the busy period in February where we've got a bunch of hard games with Atletico, and I think it's Everton and Liverpool as well, somewhere around there, Tottenham as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
a tough team,
Mohammed.
Man City, who've
Sorry for cutting you, but I don't know. I just this thing frustrated me a lot in the game, and I I, I don't I don't want us to go to the Man City game without talking about it. I mean, I think you talked about it a little, but that Christensen foul that he did and he was on the ground annoyed me a lot. I got really, really angry. I think that was the only time in the game that I got really, really angry because he caused the foul. Not that I want to take us back, but he caused the foul on Grealish. And he caused the foul on Grealish, and from the replay, you could clearly see that he wasn't even really injured. He was still lying on the ground because um, um, he wanted a foul. But Grealish got up, and then the referee allowed play to go on because the foul was on Grealish and it wasn't on Christensen. So he allowed play to go on for as an advantage for Aston Villa. And since Grealish also got up, he allowed it to go. But Christensen was still on the ground, and then it created space in the back. Yes, you could say that Kante should have filled in that position, but Christensen would have been there, and that goal wouldn't have happened. So for that reason, I finally understood why Alex doesn't like Christensen, and this thing frustrated me a lot. And it really did because he could have gotten up. He wasn't injured. The guy wasn't injured. He was acting. He was acting injured. He wasn't. He could have gotten up, run down there because we were on the back foot, and you are lying down. You want a foul, and the referee's not calling a foul. You're still lying down. I don't want to use certain words on him, but I really really got annoyed in that game. So I just wanted to get this off my chest. We can move to the City game.
Yeah, just last thing as well. I agree that it's it's not the first. I'm pretty sure Christensen is probably cons- how many can you okay, let me say that again. You can probably count how many times Christensen has gone down after getting an elbow or getting fouled or getting some contact, goes down, the rest of the team have to defend, and we concede. I'm pretty sure that's happened in the past couple of years, probably about 5 to 10 goals. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah,
I
it's true.
honestly
It's
believe
true.
5 to 10 goals
It's true.
we've conceded from Christensen getting hurt, and then we just put a ref late advantage, and we concede. It happens against Man United, especially like at least 2 or 3 times against Man United over the past couple of years. So yeah, I'm done with Christensen, and it didn't even take me this game to have the final straw. My final straw was ages ago with
I
Christensen,
mean,
and yeah,
I'm
if
on
it's
board fully. I used to defend Christensen and I like the guy, but man, I'm fully on board now because what he did today really, really cost us the game.
yeah, it's a shame
I
because
think yeah, it's a good perspective to look from because I think if you go back to the start of the podcast, we did discuss this, the way we looked at it was how it could have been Kante and Jorginho's fault for not covering up that area when Christensen was down, and that area was left open, which caused the goal. But if you look at it from this perspective and you say, oh yeah, maybe it was Christensen's fault, and or you could have the third perspective would just be of just saying even if Christensen was down, even if he was faking it, or he was just trying to get a foul out of it, or he was trying to slow down the play of the ball. Um, Either way, Kante and Jorginho should have just stepped in. If you look at it in that way,
Yeah, but if I continue talking about Christensen, I'm going to talk a lot. So I don't want to go. I don't want to talk more about it because what he did really, really pissed me off. It did piss me off.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to talk about Christensen at the end or before the Man City game. Of course, let's get into the lineups predictions for the Man City game. Alex Amart uncontested in the goal, or do we give Kepa a chance now after so many goals that we've conceded in the past few weeks?
I mean, if we're using Kepa, I
No,
think if we're using Kepa, we'd have considered like
sorry.
more goals than what we even conceded. So I don't think it's anything.
No,
So definitely Mendy.
yeah. It is like I'm a little, yeah.
I feel
Sorry.
like the chance to hit the crossbar, I think that would have gone in somehow if it was Kepa.
Yeah, the fact
Just
that
feels like the thing to happen to Kepa.
yeah, people would be all over because Mendy didn't even dive, yet people would
He
berate
was
Kepa.
looking at the ball
Yeah,
just go up, and I
yeah.
was like, oh my god, is
Kepa,
that going to?
yeah, Kepa was berated for not diving at some point. So the fact that Mendy didn't dive and no one talked about it just shows the agenda there is.
I think I think I
So
think
yeah, and it's quite. I'm a little bit.
I think in the Arsenal game too,
Go on.
that free kick Zaka took. I think if it was Kepa, a lot of people will be on this case than when it was Mendy. Like a lot of people would say Kepa is too short, he couldn't reach that ball.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm going to send a tweet out about that now. That's a good that's a Siri definition of agenda. When everyone was calling out Kepa for not diving, and then Mendy's like not. But yeah, it's a little. I'm not saying drop Mendy because the effect he has on the team is so uh, it's amazing. But yeah, he did have some good moments today. So credit to Mendy. But yeah, he's also, I mean, there's nothing much. I mean, to be fair, the goal, El Ghazi did shoot it through his legs, so he could have done better maybe, but still not concerned.
I think if when we keep a clean sheet and when we win, we don't give full credit to Mendy and we say, oh yeah, he was the reason we won, then we shouldn't give all the blame to Mendy or Kepa in a way. Even though I love talking about Kepa, um, still have to be respectful and there's still have to be inside the lines of criticism and not cross that line and start abusing the player. Um, but yeah, back four. We saw a bit of a rotation today. Christensen, Rudiger, Aspi played. Are we going to see all three of them out, or are we going to see Aspi still go in? I think Reece James had a hamstring problem, which is why he didn't play this one. So what's your back four? Sorry, Alex, for the game.
Apparently, Reece James has a hamstring injury, so it's got to be Aspi. Obviously, it's got to be Thiago. So for City, yeah, we have to. It's got to be Thiago Silva. It's got to be Zuma, and it's got to be Joel. Joel was. I thought Joel was quite good today. He had some. He was so unlucky with that volley, and yeah,
If that went in, oh, I
yeah,
would have gone mad.
that would have been ridiculous. That was such an amazing. It was so close. That would have been great. So, but yeah, Joel's he's okay. He's good. It's not like it's a shame that he's not been assisting or scoring. Actually, no, he got the assist for Giroud. Never mind. I'm talking rubbish. Nothing to see here. but but yeah, Chilwell of course absolutely has to start. Alonso doesn't really play for Chelsea anymore, and Emerson is whenever Chilwell's tired or injured, so has to be Chilwell.
Yeah, Amort, your back four.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with him. Definitely Thiago Silva, Zuma, Chilwell, and Aspi. I don't know whether Reese might be back, but yeah, I think because of his hamstring injury, probably might be out for a while. Not too long, but probably for a while. But yeah, I'll prefer seeing Aspi there
I
as
think
well. So I'll go with the same back line.
I will clear this up. I feel like this. I might have said this wrong, but I think in the post-match remarks that Lampard made when the question was asked why Reece James didn't play the game tonight, he did. This was his words, and I'm quoting this. He said, "Reece James has a slight hamstring problem, but he probably would have played Cesar Azpilicueta tonight anyways." So I'm not sure if it's exactly a hamstring or it's just him feeling a bit off or a bit tired and just needing a bit of rest. So I'm just reporting it might be a hamstring bait on the basis of that comment made by Frank Lampard before you both end up choosing Aspie and then Reece James starts. I think back four. I'll agree with you guys. I think back four. This has to be the one. Can't see Christensen or Rudiger, both of them starting. Sorry guys, no chance. Midfield. Uh, I'll go with Mount. That's the thing. I don't want to give Mount and Kante a rest. I do want to give them a rest, but then I don't want to lose the game by playing the others. Um, I'll go with Mount, Kante, and Havertz. I think that's the middle three for me. Amart, yours?
Yeah, same. Definitely, I'm going to go with. Probably I would have said Kovacic before the game. I would have preferred Kovacic, but the way Havertz performed when he came on, I think it reminded us of why we signed the guy. He was very good, and he reminded us of his performances before he had the COVID. So I think it wouldn't be such a risk putting him in. So I'll go with Mount, Havertz, and Kante. Definitely Kante. I think Kante struggled a bit today in the first half because Jorginho was the one sitting back and Kante was tasked to move forward. So I think the first half he didn't really have that much of a good game. But when Jorginho went off and he went back, I think that was when we actually saw how good Kante was. He blocked uh, Grealish on the counter. I was so happy about that. So yeah, I'll like to see him again against City.
I
I
totally
think
agree.
Kante. Sorry, Alex. I'm going to interrupt here. I think Kante is one of those players who you don't notice his name being called a lot in commentary or even on a build up to the game, but he's very important to this Chelsea team. And the way he just calmly just takes the ball off the opposition and starts and passes it around to start an attack is incredible. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with Amart. Like when Kante got moved to DM, he looked so good, and we were playing a lot better. Essentially, when once like Aston Villa, they raised their level in the second half, but once we put Kante back at DM, put Havertz on, things were looking much better for us. So yeah, for my midfield, I'm gonna go same. Kante, Mount, Havertz.
Forwards, Amart, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I would. I don't know. Werner didn't really impress when he came on. I know we all wanted to see him in the middle, but I think probably he didn't have enough time to really get into the game. But he didn't really make a case for himself to start in the next game. So I would love to see him play in the middle because I felt like Pulisic and hudson-odoi were very good today, and they fed some dangerous balls to Giroud. But I don't know. I think it would be better to go with either Tommy or Giroud up top. I think I'll go with Giroud. Giroud, yeah, Giroud up top, then Pulisic and on the left and Odoi on the right.
I think I'll agree with you on that one. Werner, he could have scored that chance that he had when he came on, but yeah, it was kind of a tough chance. Um, but yeah, I think Werner's out of form. Giroud did score a goal, so I would still give him an opportunity. And the fact that Callum Hudson-Odoi was probably as good as he was when before he got that injury. And yeah, I think Callum Hudson-Odoi, the more he's playing, he's more likely to get ahead of and start for Chelsea more often. Um, and yeah, we could. I would hope that we could see a glimpse of Ziyech probably 60, 70 minutes into the game against Man City. But Alex, your front three.
Me, it kind of picks itself. Just the three most in form attackers right now. It's annoying that we. I guess you could play Tammy instead, but no, going Pulisic, Giroud, and Cho. And yeah, I'm fine if Frank plays Tammy instead of Giroud. It's no worries. Tammy's got uh, two or no 3 goals in his last two Premier League games, so he's he's doing well. He's on form, so I have no problem. Either play Giroud or play Tammy. I don't. I'm not fussed.
I think there was a tweet that you did, and I think it was someone from CFC Daily, one of the worst
Yes,
accounts on Twitter, to be honest.
he did.
I think they tweeted somewhere around, I think it was along the lines of how Roman Abramovich spent 130 million this summer on two players and they were benched by Frank Lampard. And you quote tweeted that and replied by saying, but it doesn't affect you when a 72 million pound goalkeeper sits on the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's I think that's very true. This is Chelsea FC. You could be worth 100 million, and if you're not performing, an academy player can take over. Like, yeah, let's be honest here. You know, that's the thing of having a deep squad, a depth full of players, basically. You know, in every position. And yes, we've been short in wingers, but realistically, looking at recent form, no way are you going to pick Werner over Tammy or Giroud. Um, and I think we spoke about this a few weeks back, and actually quite a while back, when we said if we had to rank these three strikers in form right now, and I think all three of us ranked Werner third. And it's just, I think, gotten worse now with the fact that he hasn't scored a goal in 10 games or 11 games or whatever it is. Um, so, yeah, this is Chelsea FC, basically. Any comments on that, Alex? You want to express your concern or your hate towards that account in more than 240 characters?
Nah, there's no hate. It's just I don't see his argument of just because they cost 130 million means they absolutely have to start and they cannot be benched, even though that they both play or that they both played a part. For actually, no, did Havertz didn't play against Arsenal? So yeah, I
No.
understand. I understand this point that Havertz maybe should have started, but there's uh, such a tight, or not much time between games, and both of them aren't really in good form. So I really can't understand why you'd get annoyed with neither of them starting. And I don't think Roman Abramovich is I don't think Lampard's crossing Abramovich is or annoying him or doing anything that or doing something he shouldn't be. He's just playing players that are in form. So yeah, makes no sense to me why you'd be angry that we have an expensive bench when even if they did play, we'd still have an expensive bench. We've calculated how much our bench costs so many times before, and it's always going to be
200.
yeah, it's always going to be expensive. So no need to get mad over it or make tweets over it.
I think technically, if you look at if you bench all our academy players, they'll probably be worth as good as Werner or Havertz, if not right now better because of their form. Yes, we got them for free, but they're worth something.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Man City, a tough game that's going to be. Going back into that game, Pep Guardiola and then his team have been in form actually quite recently. Three wins out of the previous five, two draws in there, so they've picked up 11 points out of the possible 15 that they can have, which is incredible. And they've got two games in hand. And I would say by the time they play us, they might even end up having two games ahead of in front of us. So yeah, I think Man City were always title contenders. So can we say this is probably going to be one of our toughest games this season, Amart?
Definitely, I think they are Man City. They are definitely one of the biggest teams in England, and the way they are performing nowadays, I think they've performed very, very well. I think okay. The thing is, I've watched some of their games. I think their win against Everton wasn't too impressive, but they got the job done. I don't think they are as good as they were last season or season before that, but they are still getting the wins. They are still managing to get the wins and still managing to keep clean sheets. So they will always be a problem. So definitely one of our biggest games. But I think right now the way we are performing, every game should be a big game for us. So so yeah, it will be difficult, but we just have to go there and do something. Like we have to go there and do something. I don't know whether we'll go there and win. I don't want to say that we'll go there and win, but we have to go there and do something. We have to show some fight. We have to show some spirit because the Lampard out brigade is in full force. I don't really care what happens against Man City. I'm not going to just jump ship and be on Lampard out. But I really hate the fact that there's so much hate coming from fans towards this team, and we like the patience and time that a lot of fans were talking about that, and they themselves are now turning on the team. It's crazy.
I think you mentioned that we have to do something against Man City, and if I remember, to any 2015, and now this is going back to, I think Antonio Conte was manager when we defeated Man City 2-1, was it, after going down by an own goal by Gary Cahill? I vividly remember
That was
the
3-1,
game, and
3-1, 3-1.
3-1, yeah, I
Yeah,
think, yeah,
3-1.
3-1 when Costa scored two. No,
No,
Costa scored
Costa
two,
scored.
Hazard
No,
scored the last one.
no, Costa scored first, and then William scored second, and then Hazard scored the last goal.
Yeah. And when we played really well, and realistically we beat them on a counter. Alex, can we produce some magic like this next game week and against Man City?
I mean, to be fair, firstly, it is at home, I think.
Is
So
it?
yeah, it is at home.
Like, oh, okay, I've got the fish. I'm looking at the
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
other.
we can still recreate, but we can recreate our 2-0 win again with Christian Pulisic and
Oh
Zuma
yeah, even
and Zuma in Project Rest. It was Zuma who got the second, wasn't it? I think. Ah,
I don't.
I'm very bad at remembering goal scorers. I would say that's yeah, it could be.
I think it
Google it.
was. I think
No,
it
it was
was.
David.
I think
Wait,
it was.
no,
Why you going to say
I'm
David
checking it
Luiz?
right.
I was gonna. No, that was 2 years ago under Sarri, where yeah, no, where it was no, it was a
I'm
William.
searching it up right now just to have a look.
It was a William penalty
I think it's
where
Zuma.
Fernandinho slapped.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
no, it
yeah,
was
yeah,
William penalty
yeah.
where
That's true.
uh
It was
they
William.
headed
It
it
was
and
William.
yeah, because Fernandinho he slapped the ball off of the goal line and got a red card for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah,
um
it was William.
yeah, so we gotta just channel that energy. It'll be
Oh,
all
was
right.
this the one where Costa ended up fighting at the end or something? Or
Now
there was a
this
No,
fight?
no, no,
that
no.
was the one at
It's
the
not.
Etihad. This is
No,
the Project
the,
Restart one last
yeah,
season.
yeah.
The one where
He's
we
talking
beat
about
them
the
two
last
one
season.
to
Last
win
season.
Liverpool. The one where we beat City to win Liverpool the title.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it,
I, I,
yeah.
I I
Willian
think.
scored a penalty and Christian Pulisic scored a goal.
Yeah,
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 I don't blame any of us for forgetting that game because the commentators mentioned Liverpool in that game more than they mentioned Chelsea. So it was practically a
yeah.
Liverpool game. It wasn't a Chelsea game.
But yeah, we just got to channel it in. I do think we can beat them. Man City are definitely not the team that they used to be, like or of last year or the year before. They have a slip up in them. They drew to West Brom before. I mean, they drew to West Brom a couple of games ago. They only narrowly beat Southampton. So I do think that if we do turn up, we can win. But it's just it's hard. It's difficult to be optimistic when we're playing. Our form is just so poor. So yeah, but I think when my prediction for my score comes out, it won't be. I won't predict us a loss, but it's yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but definitely a tough game.
A bit of a controversial question and kind of not. But Amart, would you take a draw from City?
Yeah, I will. I will. But I think we should have I don't know that we should score some goals. Even if we come up with the draw, we should score some goals. I'm tired of those goalless draws. That doesn't make us look threatening at all.
5-5
We
draw.
should. I think that would. I, I think a 5-5 draw would even be better for us because at least with, like I said, we should go there and do something. So at least with that, I would say we've done something. We've showed a little bit of fight. If we should come out with a 5-5 draw, but yeah, we should be scoring against these big teams. We've not scored. I think apart from Arsenal, we've not scored against any top 16, right? We didn't score against United. We didn't score against Liverpool. We didn't score against Tottenham, and we lost against Everton as well. We didn't score against them. So we have to start.
Technically, Arsenal is in the top 16.
Yeah,
uh,
I think
um,
by this season standards, yeah, but on the general terms, they
Yeah,
definitely are.
on the sheet they
Yeah, 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 yeah. So we need to score goals against them. We need to break down defenses, and I'm just hoping Havertz comes good. And if Ziyech is around, man, I'll my confidence my confidence level right now is probably on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably on a 4, 5. Yeah, probably 5 will be okay. But if Ziyech should play, it might go to 7.
are. Ooh. Alex, you'll take a draw as well, or are you going to say otherwise?
um, it all depends on how everyone else does. Because if everyone else does the typical thing when we lose, they'll lose. Everyone else, like we always keep getting bailed out. So I no, I'm not going to take a draw. If it was at the Etihad, I would take a draw. But if it's at Stamford Bridge, the guys still need to show that they're out of this rut. We can't just keep drawing and losing and playing. Like our only win in the past 5 Premier League games is West Ham, and we let's be honest, we didn't really deserve a 3-0 win in that. So I'm really hoping that we can show that we're out of the rut. And if we get a draw, but we actually play well and we just fall foul of refereeing decisions, then fair enough. But yeah, I want to yeah. This is hard. No, I want to see. No, I won't be happy with the draw. I won't be happy with the draw.
I think yeah, I'll agree with Alex on this one. I think um, he Frank Lampard said, and I know we're going back to Arsenal and then Aston Villa in this, but you kind of have to look back and you kind of have to say, if the manager says and publicly says that the players need to take responsibility and we need to show up to these kind of games and do our best and perform well, um, and show a statement and give out a statement, and we don't do it properly against Aston Villa by not getting the 3 points, at least do it against Man City when you can't use tiredness or you can't use the rotation of the squad as an excuse, I would say. Even though Frank Lampard didn't do that, but a 5 days rest is probably the most that we've gotten in the last few weeks. So this could mean a lot for the team and just in general for the players' fitnesses. So yeah, I'm expecting a win from Chelsea. I'll be making sure to make some crazy predictions in when it comes closer to the date. Anything else to add on, guys, to this incredible performance tonight, and then a tough game ahead?
Uh,
Not
I
much.
guess I just want to wish. I think we might not record again until next season, so I think I want to wish all our listeners, the few ones that we have, and probably the new ones that we'll get, a happy New Year to everyone, and happy New Year to you both
Yeah, I
as well.
kind of got scared. I thought Amart said next season, and I kind of got scared. Hold on, where's Amart going?
Did
Don't
I
worry,
say
guys.
next season?
We're here till the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
Sorry,
did.
sorry. Did I say next season? Sorry. I was talking about next year. Sorry, next year.
Amart's already done with this season. He was just joking around when he said he was. There's a long way to
Yeah,
go for this season.
Yeah, he's passed
No, no,
Lampard
no.
out. Amart out.
Next year. Next year.
Hashtag Amart out.
Oh man.
Oh,
No, yeah, exactly. I think yeah, this should be our last recording of 2020. Uh, it's been a weird year, to be honest. Up and down, lockdowns, COVID, um, and yeah, I have to thank both of you for this. Great to be able to have a chat with you on a weekly basis, and now because of COVID, almost every other day now at this point.
yeah, likewise, it's been a good one so far, and looking forward to where CFC Talk is going.
100%. There's a lot to look forward to, guys, and I can give you some news that we've just received. Our graphics designer has just confirmed something. Watch out for the 1st of January. We'll be releasing a lot more things. Just watch out. I'll give you a hint and I'll say we're looking to change quite a lot of things around with CFC Talks, so you'll be seeing an updated website, hopefully an updated channel, all of our social medias, as well as a few new announcements that will be coming out throughout January as we prepare for the 2021 year, and as we prepare to expand even more towards creating content on a daily basis rather than just on a weekly basis with these podcasts. But don't worry about it, these podcasts will stay the same, the hosts will stay the same. Alex and Amart both will still be here. We'll still get to listen to Alex's controversial TikToks, as well as Amart giving up on the season already, if you want to call that.
That's a
what's
mistake.
what's what if you were to
It's an honest mistake.
We didn't quite get that, Amart. Could you repeat?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that was an honest mistake. I didn't mean to say season.
I'm sure it was. No, if you guys had to sum up the 2020-2021 season so far, Chelsea wise, podcast wise, what's the best memory you've got,
Best one.
I
or
think
the
the
top
first
three,
one.
or you could say one of the best.
I mean, like the best, our best in Chelsea, in terms of Chelsea FC or in terms of the podcast.
For the pod, I would go with the Sevilla 4-0 win. We were all so buzzing after that, and I made some outlandish claims on us beating Bayern Munich. So that was a high point, I think.
I think that was the
I
point
think
where it just went downhill.
No, and as well, the City. I think we started out in the
August.
transfer. I also like the transfer talks. The one where every single pod we did in August, every new episode we had essentially a new signing to talk about. That was pretty fun.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think on the pod, I think I have two. I think one would be the very first episode. I think recently I don't know what happened. I don't know what possessed me. I said let me listen to the first episode, and the way we were so awkward in that first episode was crazy. Like if you go back to listen to it, I think that I think the first one is probably my one of my favorites. And then the second time was when we had Jam on the second time. I think when we had Jam on the second time, we had so much fun with him. When we were going to play Tottenham, I think we were going to face Tottenham, and we had him on it. Yeah, that was also a fun episode. But you guys should try and listen to the first episode, and you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I will. I said I will. I'll go through and do it yourself.
Yeah, it's been great having both of you on, and not just both of you, but I'll have to thank every single person who's ever worked for our team, who's been part of our team, even if it was for a day or even if it was for just a month. Everyone who's worked along the way, and to bring it to what we are right now. I think we set some goals which were off camera, and we never really discussed it with our viewers on what our aims are with the podcast or anything. But it was, I could successfully say we've reached those, and we're reaching bigger ones. And I think if I had to say what our goals for 2021 are, I would just say as high as we can get, because there's technically no limit to this. So yeah, um, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for everyone who's ever listened to the podcast, who's ever listened to an audio version, video version, or you've just liked our posts or shared our posts, or had an interaction with any of our hosts or anything. It's always great to build a community, and especially a community that respects each other's opinions, as well as is ready to listen to others' opinions. So yeah, thank you for all of that. And as for this episode, thank you for listening to this. Make sure to add it to your playlist, and make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube, or leave a like rating on YouTube, and comment below what you thought of that performance, and what you look forward to from Chelsea. We'll catch you next time, and until then, make sure to check our website for daily articles, as well as our social media for daily posts and polls, and a lot of more interactions with the fans. And we'll see you next time.